Belgrieve returned from his morning patrol with Angeline, brushing the snow from his coat before entering the house. By then, everyone who'd still been sleeping when they left was now wide awake, and the house was filled with energy. "I'm home."
"Welcome back."
Satie smiled from the hearth, where she was stirring the pot over the flames. Even now, it was quite a strange feeling to see her there. Angeline hung her cloak up on the wall before delightedly running over to Satie.
"It was cold again. Stew? That's right. You two really are something, working so early every morning."
Satie giggled as she covered the pot with its lid.
"How about you go with us next time, Mom?"
Angeline asked, proudly puffing out her chest.
"Well, why not? If I do, I guess I'll have to count on you for breakfast,"
Satie said, looking at Belgrieve. He shrugged. Over the course of their long journey to the capital and back again, construction on the new house had been almost entirely completed. According to Graham, the carpenters had done their best to finish up whatever they could before winter, and as a result of their efforts, they had even made some additions that weren't in the initial plan. There was now more than enough space to house this large, growing family. The spaciousness of the renovations was a relief to Belgrieve, considering how lively his home was now. There was a table set on the dirt floor around the hearth, and that was where meals were cooked and served. Charlotte, whose hair had grown out while he wasn't looking, kneaded bread dough with the help of Mitt, who was now as tall as Charlotte. A fur rug was spread over the raised wooden floor, and there were cushions, which had been bought from a peddler who had visited during the fall festival, strewn about. That was where Percival sat across from Giacomo, with a chessboard between them. Kasim, Lucille, and Marguerite watched from the sidelines, teasing one or the other of the two with every move the players made. Graham sat nearby, watching over the twins Hal and Mel as they ceaselessly pestered Byaku. Inez and Miriam watched the fire burn, occasionally adding kindling or brushing ash off the iron plate. "It's gotten a lot busier here," Belgrieve mused. Giacomo, Lucille, and Duncan had managed to make it back with the mana crystal of the Abau Aku before winter touched down in Turnera. They had settled down to wait out the frost until spring, with Giacomo and Lucille lodging in Belgrieve's house, and Duncan in Hannah's. A month had passed since the rest of the group had returned to Turnera from their grand adventure in the capital. They had since grown rather accustomed to their boisterous lifestyle here, so much so that some of them couldn't fathom living any other way now. Tending to the fire and cooking meals had been jobs Belgrieve was used to handling on his own, but now there were plenty of eager volunteers to do them, and Belgrieve would often find himself with nothing to do. He sat in his chair, feeling that something was subtly different as he watched Charlotte and Mitt knead the dough. It had been only half a year since he had last seen them, but they both looked a bit more mature, and they were a little taller, too. He would have expected this from Mitt, who had always grown incredibly fast, but Charlotte was certainly a surprise. "You can't underestimate how fast the kids grow up." Charlotte, noticing his attention, looked up.
"What's wrong, Dad?"
"No, it's nothing. I was just thinking you're doing a good job."
"You think so? But Mom's a good cook, too. She's completely different from what I imagined from your stories."
"Yeah, I was surprised, too. To think she's the same Satie I knew. Back then, she hardly knew how to prepare any dishes."
"Hey, now, don't you go spreading that information around. Good grief,"
Satie groused, pouting at him. As Charlotte said, Satie's cooking skills had improved remarkably. The first time she had offered to cook dinner, Percival and Kasim had teasingly wondered if they would be okay. But the result was a proper stew. The two men, reluctant to admit that it was actually good, derided it as a random hodgepodge of ingredients, but they still asked for seconds. In the meals that followed, she'd also managed to throw together grilled foods and stuffed bread, along with a variety of other delicacies. Now it was her turn to tease them.
"Not half bad, right? How does it feel to be proved utterly wrong?"
Satie had become a good cook. That alone was a testament to the passage of time. The four members of the party had all passed the years in their own ways, and every little thing he learned about them filled Belgrieve with joy that they had come together once more. After a lively breakfast, the plates were tidied up. The kids enthusiastically helped out, and as expected, Belgrieve was left with nothing to do. He knew intruding on their work would accomplish nothing.